Hi everyone, you are on the channel Eric the Hiking. In this video, I would like to tell you about my experience of filming, give information of the best choice of cameras for the vloggers beginners, talk about settings, and give some useful advice. At this stage, I consider myself an amateur vlogger. I'm constantly learning new things, and hopefully, in the future, I'll be able to develop to a professional level. So let's move on to the first section, camera selection. Let's start with the fact that we love hiking. We often shoot videos in motion, which means that the main features are stabilization, compactness, camera weight, quick use, and of course quality. I'm sure many of you have a lot of doubts before making an important purchase, especially if it's going to hit your pocket. After numerous reviews on YouTube, I have stopped on the following cameras: Sony ZV-1 and GoPro 8. I understand that these cameras are significantly outdated, and there are new versions of these models available. However, I'll still review these cameras because they are still popular and new cameras are significantly more expensive. So what are the main characteristics that can be identified when comparing cameras? Let's start with the fact that Sony and GoPro are two different cameras for different purposes. For comparison, I've attached the cameras on a homemade support. And this is how it looks like. Resolution and quality. Both cameras are capable of delivering high 4K resolution at 25 frames per second, which means that for the cinematic format, both cameras can be used. I'd like to pick out one interesting nuance. The Sony ZV-1 at maximum resolution can only shoot 25 frames per second, when a GoPro at the same 4K resolution can shoot 60 frames per second, which gives you additional possibilities when editing in slow motion. Well, here, the GoPro has moved even further, which is 100 frames per second and 200 frames per second. And as you noticed, the lens captures a lot more than Sony. There is a video mode called Super View. Sensor size and aperture. I can point out that the Sony ZV-1 had the larger sensor, which provides better performance at poor lighting condition, and the GoPro in a low light has a significant drop in quality. Such is also known as noise. Here we can also note that the Sony ZV-1 provides blurring of the background, which gives the picture depth of field. In this comparison, the Sony is clearly a winner. The next factor is stabilization. In my case, as I said before, it's a key factor. Here, as you can see, Sony is significantly inferior to GoPro. Even with the Sony's active stabilization turned on, it's almost impossible to shoot. Active stabilization is achieved by cropping the picture. Of course, you can use various gimbals. Here is one of GIN stabilizers for Sony ZV. But they do add weight. So for you to understand, to go shooting with a stick like that, when you got a big camera here, it is not always comfortable. So take that into consideration. But if talking about the GoPro, this camera was designed for motion, what's called action camera. The GoPro has additional hyper smooth stabilization. In my case, I use it for hiking. In comparison with the Sony ZV, it is very compact and comfortable from the environmental impact. You can buy a large number of different mounts, including scuba cases. And takes up very little space. Cost. Of course, we live in a world where the price of a product is very important. The price, as you can see, for the Sony ZV-1 is much higher. That's because of its professional features. Clearly, GoPro wins here. Autofocus, optical zoom and other professional filming opportunities will be on the Sony side. Проверка звука на две камеры. Пожалуйста, можно послушать, как снимает Sony ZV. Проверка звука на Sony. И сейчас переключаемся на GoPro. Вот, смотрю в линзу тоже. Проверка звука. Переключаемся обратно на Sony ZV. Пожалуйста. Такой вот звук. Без всяких шумоподавляющих устройств. В ветреную погоду можно одевать специальные маховики. На Sony ZV прилагается в комплекте, а на GoPro можно отдельно покупать. And the last thing, but also worth consideration, it would be the display, which is the screen. In this comparison, I like the Sony ZV better, because the display is much bigger. You don't have to stare at the small display. And it can be easily flip around. But then again, the GoPro has a smaller display. And in active use, it is more convenient. Therefore, less risk of damage. Comparison conclusion. In summary, the choice between cameras depends on your needs and preferences. If you are looking for a compact, robust and waterproof camera, it is the GoPro 8. If you want high-quality video, more customization, the Sony ZV is preferable. My settings. I thought I'd talk about because I think it's an important for beginners and also a good reminder for myself. Let's start with the image format. I'm shooting at 16:9 high-resolution video 4K. 25 frames per second at the speed of 100 megabits per second. Also, I might mention the steady shot effect. When disabled, it implies to use a tripod, and in active mode, it reduces camera shake. Another good feature is the recording indicator. Sometimes this feature can be useful. For example, if you don't want to see the red light bulb reflection across a window. Let's scroll on. There is one more important setting here. I'm going to show you in that. Picture profile. You can choose the default preset for the video recording. I've stopped on Picture Profile 7, what's called S-Log. This mode is used in Sony cameras. It allows you to shoot video with a wider range of brightness and detail in high contrast scenes, which makes it easier to color correction in video editing software. The saturation and detail level I've put for you in the description. Let's talk about function menu, in particularly the functions for the quick access. ISO light sensitivity, used for noise reduction. ND filter reduces the amount of light entering the lens. Auto white balance. The camera automatically adjusts the color tones. Feature soft skin effect, specifically for skin smoothing. It's a useful feature. Helps to remove eye bags. Steady shot. I've already talked about that one. Stabilization and focus assist. You can choose manual focus if you want to focus on the desired subject, but I prefer the auto. Autofocus continuous. GoPro doesn't have a picture profile option as such, so to get more saturated colors in post-production when working with video, I use the following settings. I'm shooting at cinematic 25 frames per second. Someone might disagree with me and say that professional filming should be 24 frames per second, but I like 25. Linear lens, linear format, hyper smooth on for stabilization. Transmitting speed is high, bitrate high, shutter speed, meaning the shutter is on auto, white balance also on auto. Of course, you can set manually, but since I'm shooting under hiking conditions, I prefer to leave it on auto. ISO minimum, ISO maximum. Sharpness low. Color is flat. RAW is off. Wind noise reduction on auto. Shortcuts. Shortcuts are settings on the touch screen for quick access. Also, all the settings I put in the description. Another important aspect is the use of drones. Video creation is being taken to the whole new level. Drones allow you to shoot from altitude, adding unique and exciting angles, which are unavailable through conventional photography. Panoramic shots cover large areas and landscapes. Drones can easily move and follow different objects, creating dynamic scenes. Mountains, waterfalls, cities, and other beautiful places. So, what kind of drones I can recommend from personal experience? I like the company DJI. My first drone was a Mavic Mini. Sometimes with that drone I had troubles with radio communication because of the high wind, but overall it shoots pretty well. The 2.7K resolution is quite good quality. But if you have the opportunity to buy Mini 3 Pro with a radio controller, in my opinion, it's the better option. Of course, there is a price difference. I could go on and on about the pros and cons, but it's much clearer to demonstrate these drones in the same conditions. Let's move to the practical test. We'll start our test with the DJI Mavic Mini, the first version. The picture quality of 2.7K is more than enough in my opinion. The first 100 meters are flying easily. Nothing stalls, shooting is going well. Here is the altitude, distance, and radio signal strength. Flying 260 meters, the first glitches have started. Error message pop up, saying weak signal, adjust antennas. I'm sure the antennas are tuned correctly. Let's continue our flight. 400 meters. Already, as you can see, there is some serious twitching. For an experienced drone pilot, that won't be too much of a problem, because you can navigate on the GPS in the bottom left-hand corner. Pay attention to the footage. The footage of the drone is smooth, but what the pilot sees on the display is different. So it is look like the video and the recording is not going well. But it is not. That's not true. It is the quality of the video transmission, so don't get confused and keep filming. The number of glitches is getting worse. 750 meters. Rewind a bit forward, so I don't have to wait. .900 meters. Video transmission has deteriorated even more. Literally, on radio signal there was 1 bar left, on red. Coming back up. If you noticed that we were shooting on a clear day, conditions are almost perfect. 79% battery. Everything is also twitching. Messages are popping up all over the screen. What does it say here? Remote controller signal may be blocked. Position remote controller to face aircraft and adjust antennas for optional signal strength or fly at high altitude. Let's go ahead and see how much battery life we have left when we land. That leaves me with 70% battery left. The drone has flown 2 kilometers. repeat the same procedure with the Mini 3 Pro. I also be showing the display for information. I think we can speed up a little bit. No lags observed so far. We are at the same position where the first version experienced serious signal problems. Radio signal is down to 3 bars, orange color, but video footage is coming through without a hitch. Signal continues to be lost, but link quality is not affected. 1200 meters, also 3 bars of signal. (1,900 meters). (2,000 meters). Note the clear signal transmission. 2,200 meters. At this point, I decided to turn around just to show you how far I'd flown. (75% of the battery), but the drone was moving in sport mode, which is much faster than the first drone. And here is the first warning. Weak signal. Adjust antennas. Compared to the first version of Mavic, we've gone twice as far. I think I'll speed up the filming. Let's see how much battery is used up. Flying back up, 62% battery left. Here is a general comparison of the main parameters, such as weight, maximum flight time, video resolution, radio transmission range, speed, wind speed resistance, and of course the cost of the drone, and also a drone with radio control. Of course, the new model has more advantages. The new version has added a shooting mode, asteroid. The drone flies high up, takes a huge amount of footage around it, and then it makes an interesting video. Also, I like the active track, shooting mode in the new version. It's very easy to use. Highlight on screen the object you want to track, and the drone will follow it. Try not to lose sight of it. The object, also a car, can be singled out. If you do decide to use this mode, pay attention to obstacles, such as various tree branches, power lines, and so on. In new version, there is feature of gimbal reversals, upright position. Great for short videos, for TikTok and Instagram. Also for the drone, you can use ND filters. This is how they look like. Especially useful in bright sunlight to avoid overexposure. They help to vary the amount of light hitting the sensor. In terms of picture quality, at this stage I have started practicing D-Log. D-Log retains more information about brightness and colors, allows you to adjust and edit the video in post-processing. Unfortunately, video editing takes a lot of time. So if you decided to shoot in this format, be prepared for it. I hope you enjoyed the review on my cameras. In the future, I plan on trying out cameras like DJI Osmo Pocket 3, Insta360 to try myself at more professional shooting with the Sony Alpha models, with the manual focus and detachable lenses, and of course, the DJI Avatar, first-person drone. So, I promised I'd give you some advice. For video editing, I use program DaVinci Resolve. Here are a few key features of this powerful tool. In this program, you can merge, cut, move and edit video footage. DaVinci Resolve also provides a wide range of color correction tools, tonal adjustments and creating unique image styles. The program includes tools for working with audio, including multi-channel editing, filters, noise reduction, and other features for audio enhancement. Various number of special effects, tracking, animation, and most importantly, this program is completely free and has the features of the professional version. If you decide to make videos and uploading videos on YouTube, you are going to run into the problem of not having enough music. I can suggest a good website. This site offers a wide range of music, compositions for any genre and mood that you can use in your projects, but it is a paid site. I don't get paid for advertising, it's just an observation from my personal experience. I don't advise you to use free websites, because the author can claim the right to the song, and you won't have a license. Well, or another option, you make a project, you upload video on YouTube, and then your video gets blocked. If it is restricted by copyright, and you can't get paid for that video monetized. And last, third advice. Of course, watch the reviews on YouTube, improve your filming, and don't be afraid to try new things. That's it. If you have any tips, please share. Thank you all for watching. Please hit like button. Eric the Hiking was with you. Bye bye.
Tryna give me daps with my hands tied. All I wish for, if you could go my way. Yeah, been had me from the start. You've been on my radar for too long. Want you to